Welcome back. Woo!
Happy New Year. Yay.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again.
Surprise, surprise. Another episode within 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're trying to keep up. We're trying to get some sort of regularity in, which we haven't in a while, but yeah, we're trying. So hi, Tina. Happy New Year. How was your first week of January?
It was interesting.
Interesting.
No, it's been good. It's summer over here, so it's nice and warm. And straight away, I'm gonna dive into it. I've started for myself to maybe throughout the year do little 30-day challenges just for myself. And I know that to form a habit, I don't know, it takes 2 months and all those things. But I think, if you do something for 30 days, then it's easier to keep going. And mine is to either take a really cold shower or jump into the water. And I told you that on the voicemails already. So I started before January. So just after Christmas, because then I feel like it's not just, I'm going to change my life in 2023. It's
New Year's resolution.
So I've been doing that for, I don't know, I think I'm close to 14 days. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
Do you feel like there has been a change in your body with having taking cold showers every morning?
I mean, again, it's warm over here at the moment, but I do think I don't feel as cold anymore. In the evenings, my feet would get cold. Women get cold quite easily. And I haven't felt cold. Even when the guys would be or my partner would be oh, it's a bit fresh now, huh? And I'd be no, it's not. So I don't know if that's just placebo thinking. I don't know, but it's good. I like it.
Isn't it scientifically proven that there's it kind of starts the whole blood circulation? It kind of, speeds up the blood circulation when you take a cold shower in the morning. So that would make sense as you feel a bit warmer. Interesting. So,
and my housemate had a bit of a flu or whatever. So I feel like that is always a good thing to just strengthen your immune system any way you can. And now I'm actually craving taking a cold shower. It's a bit, I don't know. I guess also the mental stuff. Once you've actually went all the way cold, it's you feel so good that you managed to do that. So it's a good mental push, I guess. Maybe something
it
that
is.
I need. So yeah. That's me. One of my 30-day challenges.
And I think I saw that on Instagram the other day. When you take a cold shower in the morning, it immediately releases endorphins. And I think even higher doses of endorphins than taking a 5K run or something like that. I can't remember
there you go.
the details. Yeah, you don't need to go run for 5K. You can just take a shower. But no, apparently that cold shower releases some sort of endorphin rush, and which makes you feel good immediately.
Yes,
so it's a good way to start your day, I guess.
So I was explaining it to someone yesterday, and I was I was almost addicted to feeling the feeling again today. Is you go in a cold shower, and then you just that last push to be really, really to have really cold water, and then you just feel so cold but good, just straight away you're oh my god,
and
I made
awake
it.
I guess,
yes.
Right?
Oh, for sure, yes. So that's, I don't know, pretty cool. I hope I can keep that up. And obviously now it's summer, so it's so much easier to, the ocean here is cold, that it doesn't really warm up, but again, it's hot outside, so it's easy to go for just to freshen up. Let's see what happens once it gets cold. But yeah, I guess you gotta start the training somewhere. And I've heard it's one of the best ways to burn calories.
Oh, okay.
Look, I take that as a side effect.
We take all the burning of calories that we can get.
We're at that age where whatever happens easily, we take that. How was your week?
Well, I can start off the same way as you did. It is warm. And it's winter though. So climate change is happening. And I think
oh God, yes.
Last year or particularly in the past few weeks, I could feel it really. So for everyone else, I'm in Germany, so it's actually winter. And I think on New Year's in Berlin, we had 17 degrees. My friend, she celebrated in Munich.
Germany?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Wow. A friend of mine, she celebrated in Munich and they hit 22 degrees. So that was kind of insane for like winter.
No, that's not normal.
There were years where there was snow.
In Munich as well.
It's sick. And still, it's like the 9th of January and it's like 10 degrees. So it's like, that's crazy. So that was just some update on the weather for anyone that cares. I just thought I want to mention that.
Bit of a weather forecast. We always give ourselves a weather forecast, a weather update when we send each other voicemails.
So yeah, that's just on the weather side of things. But other than that, yeah, and I started the first week of this year with a funeral, which is obviously not so funny, but got me thinking a lot and got me to this episode's topic, just to talk about a lot of life lessons, because there was like a lot of moments I had during the funeral ceremony that, where I thought like, oh, I want to talk about that. There were a lot of things. So just a little backstory. Let's cut the gist. It was my grandpa that passed away just before Christmas. So the funeral happened only like a few days ago. And it was just a very small circle. We had like a very nice ceremony. And you know how it is when you go to funerals and they kind of recap the whole life of that person that just passed. You know, they start like with the early childhood years and then how they met their partner and the kids and the grandkids and all the story and everything.
Yes.
And while I was sitting there, there were like so many thoughts running through my head. So the very first one I had, and that's like a little short backstory I need to tell, and you, Tina, know that story a bit, but you know, one of my family members, my uncle, he had this huge fallout with his dad, so my grandpa that just passed 20 years ago. They had like a stupid fight. We never really got to know what happened. I think it was some sort of fight about money, like, you know, it's always coming down to money problems, but yeah. And for some reason there was a big huge fallout, and he kind of cut ties with everyone, not just my grandpa. Everyone that was somewhat related to my grandpa, he just didn't want to deal with us. And so we didn't get to see him forever.
Even though they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, and even though they were in no relation to the problem. But I think in 2016, he started to slowly come back to the family, but didn't really want to really get included anymore. Anyways, so the relationship never healed between my uncle and my grandpa. It never really healed. And it was just both being stubborn and not resolving the issue. And now he passed, and I was like pretty much sitting next to my uncle, like it's like my grandma next to me, my auntie, and then my uncle. And I was looking over to him during the ceremony multiple times, and I was just thinking, what is going through your head right now? Are there regrets? Are there regrets, like as in, I wish I would have just had that final conversation? I think I asked my mom, and she's like, yeah, he has regrets. He knows that he can't change anything, but he had some regrets, as in that this final conversation never really happened. And that gets me to my first point that I wrote down: don't part ways without saying I love you. It's just so sad because this thing happened now. And you can take this back to relationships as well. I always had this one rule in my relationship that if you fight, then end the day with I love you. Don't go to bed without resolving the fight, because you don't know what's happening tomorrow. Like, you want to start the day fresh again. You don't want to have regrets. It's not easy, but looking at
that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I know it doesn't work for a lot of people, and it's hard. I know that.
But it's good. No, I know.
But it's so important. And now my uncle's
also, like, I guess, ask yourself if the fight that you had, the money problem, whatever it was, is it really worth it? Not talking to this person, your dad in this case. Because think about that, you know, if something happens, do you feel comfortable that you didn't talk to that person for a long time because of some money problems? Yeah, that must be a really bad feeling right now.
I know, it must be. I mean, it's always tough when it comes to family. I know that there's a thing that says, I know, even though it's family, it doesn't mean you need to love them forever, right? If they hurt you, then you gotta separate.
Of course.
He did hold on to that grudge for too long without resolving it. I mean, it's his own issue. He would have to deal with it. But it was just some things I was like, well, we should tell each other. We should never part ways without saying I love you. I know, even though it's your dad, and if they hurt you, you're right, you can always, how can I say that properly? Just because you're blood related doesn't mean you need to forgive everyone and everything. But obviously he has regrets, and he has love left for his father, and now he's gone. So now he doesn't get to say what he maybe always wanted to say over these past years. So that's kind of bad. Even with relationships, it's the same thing, because my ex-partner, he never wanted to really, resolve issues right away. He was like, oh, let's go to sleep and let's talk about it tomorrow. And I was like, no, I don't want that, because tomorrow's a new day and I want to start fresh.
Yeah, but if there's no way of, if you're not able to resolve the problem in that moment and it would just become a more heated discussion, it's better to just break it up at that point and just kind of, okay, let's just also collect your thoughts and your emotions.
True,
because that's something that I'm learning right now, and I'm trying to kind of find the trigger, but I'm quite reactive with my emotions. So I guess having a bit of time in between, or like a whole night, lets me chill out a bit, like, think about certain things, and then probably in the evening I would maybe react and pick a fight more than I would do the next day when I had time to think about it, I guess. But I do understand, I don't like being next to my partner during the night and just be like, I don't know, still thinking about this fight or discussion that you had. So it's like both ways. Be good to be able to like resolve it in the evening if you can.
I mean, I think it always depends on your personality. Like as you just said, you're more impulsive. Like in that second, you're just reactive, more reactive. And I think I've never been in that heated situation, but I guess you're right, definitely. If it's like very heated and it doesn't go anywhere, it's better to take a break. But I mean, like, okay, let me just phrase it differently. Doesn't mean
No, you're completely right there. And I wish I would sometimes be able to resolve problems. Yeah, that's it. And I'm not a person who likes to actually keep whatever, a fight or discussion open for days. Or with, doesn't have to be like your love relationship, but any kind of relationship, because it's at the end of the day, it's constantly on your mind as well, just taking so much energy from you.
Oh yeah,
and
sucking out your life.
We both had a couple of like situations like this in the last couple of months, and it's just like so annoying. And then I said to you as well, like, so then we have two options. We either talk with the person about what's bothering us, or we leave it.
Yeah.
But then we also have to forget about it and just move on.
If it's still keeping you awake at night, and if you still think about it, and if it still bothers you, then you can't obviously let it go. Then you need to address it. And you can't have regrets, honestly. If you want to have this big fight, if you want to have this big fallout, and if you don't want anything to do with that person, that's your choice. I mean, I get it. Like, it's fair enough. We're all human. This is human emotions, but it's a long time. It's even more, I think it was even 20 years, but still you had time to resolve it. And now you thought time is just there and you didn't care about it. That gets me to the next point, like in general, is saying time is precious, right? You don't know how long you have these people in your life. And it could be tomorrow. You got to make a choice. If that's your loved one and whatever they did to you hurt you so much that you can't deal with them anymore, then cut ties, yes. But then that means no regrets, right? You got to make that decision. Or you have that conversation and try to solve it. Really. But then, I don't know, my uncle had probably his own issues, and I know a bit about his backstory, so about his early childhood, so nothing to bring up in this podcast, but probably he has his own feelings about that too. But it's just an observation I had. But another positive observation I had during that funeral, even though it was such a small gathering, how great it is that, like, you see the beauty in having a great support system, right? When you're in a funeral, you see like who's there and who's actually there holding your hands, and how nice it is to have a support system, like that unity of friends or family, whoever you have. Like, it's so important that you have that tight net. And I feel sorry for everyone that doesn't have it. Like, you just see it in moments like a funeral, how nice it is. Like, with my grandma, like, she was sitting there and then she turned around. She's like, oh, look, my neighbor came as well. Like, little things. But these people are part of her support system, right? And it's so beautiful that there's people there that can hold you. Like, just imagine there's no one there and you're just there by yourself. So that was just something I realized how beautiful it is and how grateful we should be that we do have that support system. I know, Tina, for you, you don't have them close by, but you have a support system if you need them, right? So we should be so grateful for having all of these people around us. We should be grateful that we have each other, right?
No, yeah. I guess we don't think about those things very often because we don't have to. And then in those moments, you actually realize, yes.
Yeah, you don't really realize, but it's just so precious. Everything is precious, but like, yeah, that was just something I realized how nice it was everyone to just be together and just hold each other. And even though it doesn't matter if time had passed and you haven't talked to each other for a while, it's just nice to have that support system. If something happens, it happens, right? You can always look back. What else did I write down? I had to write down so many thoughts I had. I just thought my grandma was very inspiring in general, and that just got me to that point. Be brave and don't let life drown you. Because my grandma, she was already in the process of getting, to move on, even though she's still grieving, and she is still grieving and in so much pain. She's looking forward to the next step and just trying to, while she's still grieving, to heal at the same time and to still make the most out of her life, because she knows as well that her life is precious. So that was like very inspiring. And I think we should all be a bit like my grandma and just take every day as it is. You know, when there's things that just drown you sometimes and you just feel like, oh, life has hit you with another, I don't know, another miserable event, and you just don't want to leave the house and just want to drown yourself in pain and like, I don't know, just want to just leave everything behind. And those days we should just see the bright side in things and just see how precious life is and how precious it is that we get to still live, right? You get to still do the things we love even though we hate it sometimes. I know, it's just very conflicting thought.
Which is probably easier said than done, though, because we do, if you're being hit with like multiple miserable events, then obviously it's not always easy to see the bright side.
Of course not.
But I guess just taking the time and acknowledging that, life is shit right now. And, sit down for a cry and scream and do your thing, whatever you need to do, or grieve, because everyone grieves in a different way as well. But then maybe just, take your time to feel miserable and then just be like, okay, that's done now. Let me try and move on.
Yeah.
Because,
And it's so nice what you just said before, like just allow yourself to just cry, allow yourself to just be sad as well. It's fine. Like, life is shit sometimes and life is okay. It's okay if it's shit. It's allowed to be shit sometimes. Because we're always
supposed to be so strong. Not supposed to be, but like, like the outside is like, oh, like, I don't know, a very stupid example, business related, but was that we met someone who's kind of like a customer of ours, and I was talking to him and he's like, oh, how are you going? That was a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, oh, look, I'm good. I always say I'm very grateful that we have the chance to do this, but damn, I'm tired. I was just so exhausted in that moment. And he was laughing about it. And it was like, funny. And it was like, yeah, okay, anyway. And then I knew that one day I already knew that he's gonna say it to someone and I'm gonna hear that he said, oh, Tina said she's tired. Anyway, and he actually did when he saw my partner the next time. And he was like, oh, but I heard like you guys are a bit tired. But he didn't mean it in a bad way. He was actually expressing it in like, not a funny way, but it was like, oh yeah. And she said, you're a bit tired. So that means you have lots to do. And I was like, yeah, I'm actually at the end of the day very happy that I was honest, because first of all, I looked like shit. Like, I'm not going to stand there looking like shit telling you like my life is great, because my words don't kind of, meet my looks. And then
match it,
but then how it's completely fine just to say for once, like, you know what, I'm tired. It's just a lot of work right now and I'm tired.
It's okay to not be okay.
Everything is good. Like, why do I care what you make out of it at the end of the day? If I feel like saying, hey, I'm tired right now, then that's what I am. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna quit my job or do whatever, but it's just like, yeah, okay, you feel like shit right now? Cool.
Yeah, you need to recharge as well. And that was so interesting because when we went to a little chapel, I held my grandma's hand and I was like, you can cry. She's like, no, I got to hold it in. I was like, no, Grandma, you can cry now. It's okay. You can cry. She was just trying to be so strong. I mean, I get it. Her kids were there too, right? It's just, you want to be strong for everyone. But I was like, I was trying to be the rock for her. That's why I held her hand. And I was just, I thought like I needed to, at that moment, to be that person for her. But I was like, it's okay, you can cry. And then she cried. Like, she needed to be told to cry. And that was very interesting because I was like, okay, just let it out. Don't put it in, push it in, and don't suck it back in. But yeah, that was interesting. But
well, we're here to tell you it's okay
to cry.
Cry. Just
it's
cry
okay to
if
cry.
You need to. Now, stop the podcast for 5 minutes.
And cry.
Have a good cry and come back.
Did I not tell you that rule I came up with for myself in Australia every time something bad happened to me, like as in a visa got refused or some like bullshit happened? I came up with that, which was Australia in a nutshell.
Life-changing events.
Yes. I came up with that rule that I am allowed to feel miserable and cry about it for 24 hours. But then if it's something I can solve the next day, I will solve it the next day. But I will not solve it that day. And you remember there was this very key moment, and I hope you remember that. Or maybe you don't. I can just repeat that. I just tell you the story.
Maybe I remember.
When we went to that tribunal hearing. So back in 2017, I needed to go attend a hearing to defend my case. It was a visa refusal, blah blah. And my ex-partner was there. Tina was so there as mental support.
So
it sounded very criminal, but it wasn't really. I just had to explain that I'm in a legit relationship with that person, and they didn't believe that, so that's why I had to attend a hearing. Wasn't as bad as it sounded. Anyways, it was all very emotional. I cried a lot. It was, oh goodness. Anyway, I remember afterwards, we were all in that entry hall, and I cried my eyes out, and I could tell, like, you didn't know what to do with me. My ex-partner was like, I don't know what to do with Cindy, like, blah. And I remember him. I knew that that we could solve the issue. I knew that we could fix it right away, but I didn't want. I wanted to be emotional. I just wanted to be upset. I just wanted to feel miserable. I remember my ex-partner is like, let's go to the lawyer. Let's go there. Let's go do this. And I just looked at him and I was like, no, you go do this. You go home. I go to the shopping mall with Tina and just spend my day and just do nothing. I want to cry about it. I want to be upset about it. And then the both of us, we went to a shopping mall, and I allowed myself to just be miserable. And then the next day, I went my way and just tried to fix it. I didn't. But anyway, that was just a rule I came up with. If something happens to me in the future, that I can solve on my own, I still allow myself 24 hours to just be miserable about it and do not try to solve it right away and try to push down my emotions and my feelings. I just feel them instead.
I had a situation like this yesterday that, I don't know, I had a yoga class in the morning. I went into the ocean for a swim. It was a beautiful sunny day. So, all those things that just help to have a really good start to the day.
Jealous.
Also, you would think. And then there was just like one or two things within seconds of each other that, I don't know, just triggered me. And my whole mood just went sideways. And I don't even know what it was. But I don't even know. I just remember thinking back now. It was like when I picked up my phone and had a couple of different messages. I don't know if I was just so chilled coming out of yoga. And then just had so many messages and I felt over, I don't know what it was. But yeah, I don't know. Something triggered me and I was just not in a good mood anymore.
Not having it.
Well, but then it wasn't that I was like extremely bitchy all day long, but there was just a weird mood going on. And then later realized it's the time of the month as well. And there's, stuff with my dog happening. Like there's so many things. But anyway, and then all day long I was like, oh. And then I had a feeling like, if you would just cry now, then you could just release whatever's going on, even though you don't even know what you're crying about. Or even if it's because I'm mad about that I feel that way. Anyway, I had a quick cry while I was working. Like I kept working and I cried. And I was good after. I liked that.
Yeah.
So I didn't even waste any time, nothing. Like I just had a cry while doing my thing. And it was cool. And it just helped so much. I don't even know. I don't even know what I cried about. Maybe just the fact that I didn't allow me to cry. I don't know. It was just but yeah, good afterwards.
Sometimes you don't need 24 hours. Sometimes you just need to cry. And it's good. It helps. It does help a lot. Wow. It's good. Glad it made you feel better. But yeah, that was something interesting to observe. Another thing I wanted to mention, and this all happened on that day of the funeral, but I gotta mention that Greek restaurant, right? And that gets me to another point I wrote down: be kind to strangers, because you get like a immediate reward by karma, really, which that person got. So a few weeks ago, when my grandpa passed and my mom and my grandma had to organize the whole funeral, she didn't know where to go for lunch after, and they have this local Greek restaurant in town, and my grandpa and her, they always went there. So
can I just say that in Germany, that's a big thing, that you go for lunch after funeral to a restaurant. Like you don't have a wake at home or anything. Yeah, you don't really do anything at home. I feel like in America it's quite a we have a ceremony, like you go to chapel or church, and then usually after you go to a restaurant or something like, we don't have like a wake, I don't know, at home or something like, we don't, we usually go to restaurants. So that's what my grandma wanted to do. So she contacted the local restaurant they always went to. And unfortunately, the day of the funeral, they had like a public holiday. So they were closed. And my grandma was like upset about it, or I don't know. She was on the phone with the owner. The owner was very compassionate and was like, oh, look, I know your late husband, and I would love to open for you only. It's fine. We can open up. It's fine. So which is very kind.
Very, very kind. But what happened is when we arrived that day, they opened the restaurant for everyone, right? Because I thought like, I might as well just open the doors and see. And they were packed. Oh. Like the whole restaurant was so busy. They probably made so much money by opening that day, even though they were intending to close that day because of the public holiday. But they only opened for us, and immediately got rewarded by so many customers coming in. They were fully booked out, and I thought like that was nice. I was like, well, kindness gets rewarded instantly, and I thought that was a nice takeaway. Be kind to strangers. Be kind to strangers. I mean, they're not strangers, but you know what I mean. They're so nice. So, wow. Yeah, he probably didn't regret opening that day, and I thought it was so lovely. So just shout out to that Greek restaurant in a village somewhere in Germany. Thanks for opening up. So
there's a Greek restaurant in every German village, just so you know.
Yeah, there's always a Greek restaurant. It's so funny.
100% a Greek restaurant.
In every street in Berlin, there is a Greek restaurant.
That is true.
There's always a Greek restaurant. But yeah, that was so nice. And that's something it's even like the little things in life that you just remember. And I feel like this is something I remember. And it was the kindness of this stranger that said, okay, even though I'm only opening my restaurant for a group of 15 people, I'll just do it out of the kindness of my heart. And he gets immediately rewarded by like 50 people coming in. Even though it's a little town, like there's not many people living there.
Probably
so I don't know where these people came from.
Of the week or month, yes.
Fully deserved. So that was really, really nice. So yeah, the little things, right?
When you see that instant gratification happening, like the instant good karma happening is or bad karma. I just love when you see that straight away. Because it's just a proof that it's around, it's out there. But even, I mean, we shouldn't do good things hoping that we get good things back. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously not.
Sometimes I feel like doing something good, just having that feeling that you did something good is, the best reward.
Like that's just the main takeaway. Be kind to strangers. Be kind to everyone. Kind of try to be kind. Leave this planet with a pure heart and soul, because it's worth it. It's
everyone. No, but you're right.
No, I want to. Not everyone that treats me bad, but like
no, we're not talking about really bad, but like I had this one person in my life, that friendship that got a bit ghosted last year or whatever, if it ever was a friendship. I'm not still trying to figure it out. I just now left it.
I have a word for it, and I learned it the other day. It's an acquaintant friend. She was an acquaintant friend. So interesting. I always never knew how to call these people. They're friends, but not really friends. They're not acquaintances, but still not on the level as a friend. They're an acquaintant friend. So anyway, keep going. Just call her an acquaintant friend.
Okay. I'm happy we have a word for that. And then it was this whole that we didn't go to the birthday party, which I still wonder if that is the whole reason why. I don't know. Anyway, but, back then I said I want to do a birthday present because I like to give people things. I just think that's a nice thing to do, to just, I don't know. Also because I guess I don't have my family and friends really here that I can give gifts to, like for Christmas or birthday, anyway. So I was just like, yeah. So in my mind this whole time I was like, well, are you going to just, be like, whatever. Okay, cool. But then my partner was like, he was about to see her. I was like, well, it would be still nice to give her a present. The present that we were planning to give her. And then I was like, you know what? Kill him with kindness. She's going to get a present. She hasn't said thank you yet. I kind of expected her not saying thank you, but that's okay. I don't want to get into, I don't want to get my head into the whole fact that she hasn't said thank you, because I'm just like, that's not why I gave you this present. And I have now seen this present, even though I'm going to see her in the future and I'm going to talk to her in the future. But for me personally, it was my goodbye present to our friendship.
Okay, fair enough.
Just like, for me, it's like, cool. I hope I made your day with that. I just gave you a bit of a, oh, that's nice. If it hasn't, well then, sorry about that, but I'm pretty sure it has. So yeah, if that was the whole purpose of the thing, that she just,
Yeah, it would be nice though if it is a goodbye present, because it makes no sense to keep this relationship going.
And I wonder if maybe one day when I see her, I will actually ask her what her damn problem was. Because I do think it's always a bit... Maybe just, I don't know, because I like to know what the problem was, also for me to be able to, maybe it's something I need to work on, but maybe it's just something where I'm like, you know what, I don't think I did anything wrong, so that's on you.
Yeah.
But then the whole thing, and I had some things going on in my family as well, as you know, and I think what my kind of new motto for 2023 is when it comes to relationship with other people is like, if you can't share any positive things with me, I don't want to hear any of your negative things.
Yeah.
I'm just not available for that anymore. So if you're always just ranting about your life, whatever it is, or complain about things, or only share the sad things with me, but then you don't have time to share any good things with me. No, I don't want to be in that negativity loop with you all the time. Like, it's not just why. No, I'm too empathic, I guess, to
empathetic,
just,
yeah.
Because I would suck, or empathetic, yeah, sorry. I'm too I suck in all the energy, and then I'm the one who is moody and emotional and all those things, and you just keep living your life like nothing happened. And I'm like, no, I'm not having that anymore.
Yeah, if it's definitely not nothing else than just negative energy all the time, right? We all have bad times and bad, months in our lives, but if it's always just bad energy,
like there's just never, and then just no, there's no benefit for you at the end of the day, because a friendship, relationship, whatever it is, it has to have a benefit. And even if it just, I don't know, someone listening to you, or you're feeling at least appreciated that you listen to someone and their problems, whatever it is, like there needs to be a benefit of some sort, and the person at least needs to ask you every now and then how you're feeling. So I think that's just a new thing to live by.
Because that's another thing that I got to think about, like, time is so precious, right? Why will we waste so much time with people that upset us, that make us feel bad about ourselves, that suck our energy and do not give us what we need, to then just, I don't know, it's just not worth it. I mean, it always depends on the relationship. I know. I mean, like you said, you had issues with family members, always a bit trickier to cut ties, obviously, and I get that. But like, there's some acquaintance friendships that we keep during our lifetime that we just keep for no reason at all. You never had a solid friendship. There was never really, like, I just talk in general, not you and I, like in general, with acquaintance friendships, you never had a solid friendship to begin with. You rarely have great memories you share. You rarely have like history. It's just like some sort of moments you shared with that person. Like,
there's actually nothing.
There's nothing, yet you still keep them and drag them along in your life and get upset by anything they do, or the lack thereof, right?
And
so
is it
things
just
they're not do.
That we get so emotionally attached to that? Like, I don't know what it is that makes me hold on to it. Probably also because my friend circle here is not as big as it is back in Germany. So maybe, I guess I hold on more to those kind of acquainted friendships. That's why maybe, I don't know.
If I think back to my time in Australia, definitely was the case. Because you didn't have solid friendships, then you hold on to the superficial relationships that you do have, and then notice that their lack of any depth, really. And you drag them along, and here you go, like 5 years later, you still are in touch with people that actually have no benefit to your life, honestly. So that maybe if we do resolutions, right, then that could be a resolution to cut ties with people that don't suit our life.
I wrote down some resolutions this year. I haven't properly wrote them down on a piece of paper or anything, but I put them on my phone. So that's more than I did last year. So I'm very proud of myself. I will eventually write it down somewhere. But yeah, and I also add to it when I just, especially the last week or so, if there's anything like, oh, I want to do this. But then, and that's, with everything that happened now, you write down, I kind of wrote down a few, I don't want to say just material things, but also material things. And I want to achieve this and that. But there was one, I think we should also sometimes write down how we want to feel at the end of the day. And I think like feeling happy is such a broad term, or feeling grateful. But, at the end of the day, I don't want to feel grateful. I want to feel grateful every day for my life. But there was this feeling that I wrote down that I want to feel, which I thought was really nice. And I saw that on Instagram, because I follow Pamela Reif, or Pamela Reif. And I know you don't follow her, or you find her a bit annoying, and that's cool. But I don't know. I like what she shared in that moment. I think she was sharing a real kind of her recap of 2022, where she was saying, and sometimes I cry because I can't believe how beautiful my life is. And I don't know, in that moment it just hit me, and I was like, I wanna cry because my life is so beautiful. Like that's just next level being grateful. And I thought, that's a feeling I want to strive for. That is maybe doesn't happen in 2023, but.
But below that feeling is you gotta believe it as well, right? You gotta believe it as well. It's nice to just be like, oh yeah, my life must be beautiful, but you gotta believe it as well. And that's something you obviously struggle as well with all that's happening.
But that's just also just for yourself, finding a way to appreciate the way your life is, and just maybe wherever you are in life, just seeing it as beautiful, and then making yourself believe that it's beautiful. So I don't know. I thought that was nice. That's something to
that's definitely very nice. It's very nice. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's so nice to just see the bright side in life, right? And just in general, like
we have to.
You have to. And one thing that I wrote down as well, which I thought was like a great revelation that day, that of all the things that were said about my grandpa, it was not the big achievements that talked about, it was the little things, like his kindness and the way he acted and the way he was. And it was not about I don't know, the big business he started, or like how he traveled the world, or how he's done that and that and this and that. No one cared about that in the end of the day. In the end of the day, what they said about him was his kindness and his way of acting, and the way he I don't know, his laugh and his humor and everything. So that's why I wrote down, little things in life can be just as memorable. Like, it doesn't need to be, we shouldn't be putting so much pressure on ourselves to climb that ladder, to be successful, to achieve that by 35, by 40, I want to be there. By 50, I want to do that. And I want to travel the world. Yes, I do want to do these things, but it shouldn't be pressure on that, because at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about being happy, and you can be happy with so much less than all of that I just mentioned. You can just, if you just focus on being happy,
off ourselves a bit.
Yeah, and just focus on being happy and being your own biggest love, right? Be your own biggest love and just be happy. Yeah, that's nice. And that's what people will love too. And I think if we all kind of try to, and it always depends, and we are all in a privileged position where our life is good and where our mental state is good. I mean, there's people that struggle every day with mental issues. So we obviously talk about our situation, but I think in our situation, we could be so much more happier with everything that's going on. And we should. So that's just something I wrote down as well. So there was a lot to take in, a lot to think about that day. But yeah, it's actually beautiful. As sad as a funeral is, it was simultaneously, it was very beautiful. It just got like a lot of things rolling in my head. And I was like, life is beautiful. Like, look at the things that my grandpa just did. And he had such a bad start to this life. The grandpa didn't have a good life as a child, but he created such a good life after, right? So interesting. So much to think about. So life, happiness, be your own biggest love. That should be the main takeaway, I think. Just thrive for happiness and don't thrive for society's definition of happiness, because society's definition is like family by 35 and be married, have a house, have a business, have this, be successful and do everything at the same time, blah, 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 travel the world.
Your butt off.
Yeah, buy a van and like live in a van and all the things you get to see. Be fit, be healthy, be like nutritionist best, all at the same time. Be happy, maybe that should be the main thing to focus on. Be happy.
Yeah, just chill, take it easy.
Just chill. It's fine.
You can't take the money to your grave.
No, you can't. And it's just, life is so short. So just, yeah. So that is all I wanted to say about, I think we could talk for hours about that topic, but these were a few takeaways I just needed to. Yes. Yeah. Or actually, well, no, we can talk about that in the next episode, but there's one more point that I want to bring up, but we leave that for the next episode. But yeah.
Well, to be continued then.
To be continued. That was an interesting dive. And yeah. Thank you, Tina, for talking about all of that. It's just very, very dearest to my heart, very close to my heart. It's very important.
Well, thank you for listening and everything, and I hope you just have an amazing 2023 filled of love for yourself.
Yeah, be filled of happiness.
I wish that for
very
everyone.
Happy moments.
Yes,
and less pressure. So yeah, talk to you guys soon, and yeah. Bye-bye.